And welcome back to Game 5 of a series where SK Telecom and G2 Esports have been trading blow for blow to push us all the way to a deciding game. I have been here before saying that G2 Esports are going up against a favorite opponent. Last year was RNG. Varius, you and I casted that game, and G2 Esports won that game, silencing the League of Legends world.
Yeah, they certainly did. It was a very dramatic series, that's for sure, but it was the same situation where both teams were winning on blue side every single time, and then in Game 5, G2, they somehow got the perfect draft, they got the perfect answer, and they turned it around against RNG. The question is, can they do it today? Personally, as an EU fan, I believe that they can.
But the nameplates are on. This is SK Telecom T1. They were winning world championships when G2 were failing promotion to the EU LCS at the time. So this is where FLICKR, Khan, the big names like Mata, earn their bacon, because this is a must-win best of one to join Team Liquid in the final.
And the question will be answered, has the gap finally closed? If G2 win this, I say it has. Let's catch up with the draft. This is a pivot, different to what we've seen from previous games. TK, Nico, and Jace banned away by SK Telecom. Akali, Ryze, and Silas, the response from G2. So a very quick Jarvan locked in for Clid.
You would imagine that the Galio increases in priority for G2, and they could very well put some focus on the Rek'Sai as well. We've seen that in the early game, it packs a powerful punch, and it was Jankos' most played champion during the playoffs of the LEC. So G2 going to make that pivot coming into Game 5.
Gankable lanes have been all the talk of MSI recently, so finding CC to back up Rek'Sai or Jarvan is very important. Braum ripped away in recent games from SKT. Will be a very normal pick. Would it be Varus Braum as a duo?
I'm wondering if the Kalista comes out here for Teddy, one of his best performing champions for him during this year, and so far he's yet to die on the champion.
And his comfort might be shaken a bit after being involved in probably the big pivotal turning point of Game 4, with his teleport onto mid lane turret leading to eventual Baron that came through for SKT. But it's a little bit bold when there's not a Tahm Kench lane in sight to take the Kalista into. So Varus Braum for safety is the SKT choice.
There's the Pyke cover coming out from G2. Oh, they lock it in! Oh, and we have no idea where the Pyke is going. It could be mid, it could be top.
And once again, shout out to Countdown, where the discussion was, who is the best Pyke on G2? We'll find out after this game.
Remember, Galio could go mid lane. It's a possibility.
That's
here.
True.
And Caps is, of course, the self-proclaimed best Pyke player on the team. Had a chance to meet up with G2 when they were in Korea, and the biggest flare point question to get under their skin was to ask the squad, who's the best ex-champion?
Yeah.
Because everybody had an opinion, and Cap said he played all of them the best. So let's wait and see what actually shakes out.
Well, with the Hecarim ban, this does suggest that the Pyke right now is looking to be a top lane pick. G2 want to create some chaos, and in Game 5, this is how they're going to do it. Fiora being taken away as well, very heavily suggesting that this Pyke will be going into the top lane. Have SKT prepared? Do they have an answer for this Pyke? Look, the Morgana ban coming out as well. They're saying, what if they try to do fill, or funnel rather? We want to deny that option.
Small answer and small thing to consider is that SKT have not banned Pyke this series, so theoretically, that should come with some semblance of an answer, but this Pyke could go anywhere, and I'm sure that's reigning supreme. You want to continue that flexibility. This Syndra could be bot lane
I think that Syndra's in the bot lane. I genuinely believe that that Syndra is in the bot lane for Perkz. In Game 5, when the chips are down and when you need to bring something big out, why not put Perkz back on the mid lane role that he managed to challenge FLICKR with back in 2017?
Oh, let's see if this works out. SK Telecom now have to start piecing together what this composition is going to look like. Kennen will be locked in for Khan in the top lane, and FLICKR is potentially and confirming a Game 5 LeBlanc. For anybody that is a long-time viewer, will remember Morgana into FLICKR's LeBlanc many, many moons ago, and the response now is Lissandra.
And that is definitely going to be into the LeBlanc. That part is under no review. That means Perkz will most likely be on the bot lane Syndra. Again, there is the flexibilities there, but the roles starting to come together. The top lane Pyke is back. SKT, very, very standard stuff, but with some good agency for the LeBlanc to roam around. G2 want this to be a chaos game through and through.
I feel like the SKT are so happy with their draft. They have such a strong 2v2 jungle with the LeBlanc and the Jarvan. They should have priority up towards the top side of the map. And I'll be honest, I don't know how Syndra Galio does against Varus.
No,
Braum.
what? Call yourself an analyst.
So we'll have to see how that one plays out, but they should have a lot of options in the early game. And as we said multiple times, the early game has decided how these games play out. So I feel like even with all this craziness coming out from G2, SKT on paper look like to be in the favorable position.
And here's my respect point to G2. If both teams come away from a draft, G2 and their opponent, and they both feel good about it, I'm more worried about G2 feeling good about their draft because their ceiling and the chaos and unpredictability it heralds is terrifying.
I agree. The G2 variance between their best games and their worst games substantially larger than G2's. At the beginning of this tournament, we started putting teams into buckets. The methodical control teams and the explosive chaotic ones. These two drafts are the epitome of a bucket stylization. And we get to see which one reigns supreme and advances to the MSI finals.
Let's bash the buckets, boys, as we jump into Game 5 between SKT and G2. We got a Pyke in the top lane. We have FLICKR's LeBlanc. What better way to round out this series?
And of course, we know how Kobe feels about buckets, so he's rolling over on the analyst desk in disgust. Let's take a look at the early game decision-making. Remember when Wunder played Pyke last time, he lost early, and it was skirmishes mid that allowed G2 to come back and defeat SK Telecom.
And the Jarvan could definitely do an impersonation of the Elise that was played on that point to keep the Pyke on a short leash. I want to zoom in on one decision, and that's FLICKR playing LeBlanc in Game 5 of an MSI tournament. Remember, all the way back to the first MSI, it was the strategy to take down FLICKR's LeBlanc with Pawns Morgana that led to SKT losing that final. He wants to have a happy memory of a Game 5 LeBlanc because if this game goes the way of G2, that's definitely going to haunt him for a long time.
Super quick stats for you. LeBlanc, as you mentioned, very well proficient on the champion. He's undefeated in 2019, 5 games played, 5 wins to his name. The last time Perkz played Syndra was against the Freak Freaks at Worlds last year.
Wait, what role was he in again?
There was some beautiful irony to that, and now he's running the Electrocute Syndra bot lane with Mikyx Galio.
And I love that you mentioned that quick shot because that has to be my next big point. Perkz and Caps were considered 2 of the best mid laners in Europe last year. Now, in this final game, both are playing mid lane champions against SKT. Is 2 mid laners enough to take down FLICKR?
Small point about the level 1 fake leash by Mikyx and Perkz onto their blue. Have not spotted out anything though. Clid has not been spotted by the River War.
All right, flag and drag's available. Double flashes as well. Only level 1 for both Perkz and for Mikyx. Here comes Clid. That's a very good flash. Advantage SK Telecom.
Job done. That's exactly what he wants to do. Doesn't want Syndra to have the lane presence that she does in mid or bot lane. Same choice in the duo lane. Remember, the all-in from Galio and Syndra's a lot of CC from level 2-3 onwards. Lane control to Varus Braum, scary thought.
Yeah, I think Clid, as you rightly said, Papa Smithy, is more than happy with how that trade played out. He can now walk away feeling satisfied that his bot lane has priority, and notice how they've split the map up right now. It is SKT that control the bottom half of the map, and there is the risk of a potential dive towards this bot side with no flash on a Syndra and only running the teleport. It becomes a very easy opportunity for SKT to play around.
Oh, very difficult with the taunt and scatter the weak stun, so execution is important for SK Telecom, but if there was a team that you believe could pull off that execution, this would be the squad. Blue buff was stolen there by Clid as Jankos will clear out the scuttle on top. And it's kind of got a vertical jungle feel about it. As you can see, the top lane, Wunder pushing into Khan.
So we still have to keep our eyes on Clid, but we also want to draw attention to the Pyke in the top lane. Notice that at these early levels, he's not actually struggling. He's managed to get to level 3 very safely. He knows that his jungler's on the top side, so he has the potential to play a little bit more aggressively. And the one thing that we learned from when the last time these two teams played was what Pyke is exceptional at is actually setting up for ganks. The amount of crowd control that he provides, and combined with the damage from the Rek'Sai, means that if Khan makes that slight overstep, or if he misuses his abilities, he is primed and ready to get sunk to the deep depths.
And while you think of Kennen as a burst champion as the game goes on, as that's actually in the mid lane.
Oh, flag and drag under the tower, but the W from Caps might be enough. The Claw of Doom keeps Caps away from it, but that was so insanely close.
Clid's flash is down, so some side lanes can relieve pressure. Coming back to the Kennen though, it's an auto-attack champion in lane similar to the Jay, so the moment you get under turret, yes, Kennen will be threatening Klepto procs and turret plates, but backing away, getting back your health from that passive and coming back in should allow the Pyke to weather the storm early.
Now, if you're a G2 fan, you're quite excited by the fact that Clid has attempted 2 ganks and not converted it into any kills yet. But those big summoner spells are down, so you have to keep your eyes on where this jungler is and where he looks to play. Because remember, I'll keep saying it, this guy is, in my opinion, the best Jarvan in the world, and when he has an ability to look for a play, he will not hesitate.
And if you are just joining the broadcast, Clid has obliterated G2 Esports multiple times this series. His early game impact has been game-changing. Also, the team that has been on the blue side has generated several thousand gold lead by 15 minutes and gone on to win the game. So it's going to be up to G2 to break that trend if they want to win the series. Technically, odds are stacked in SKT's favor. Much like this top wave stacked towards Wunder, he's just going to farm it out as Khan recalls.
That is an electrocute Jarvan. He goes warrior every time we've seen him in recent memory. Consider that if Pyke hits level 11, level 16, it should be a very squishy lineup. So the sort of mid-game team fights like we saw last time we saw Pyke in this matchup could potentially be very effective.
Even game so far. CS is equal. Teleport's pretty much being traded equally, despite a very different look of team composition. Neither team's got that advantage yet.
Now, notice that Wunder has not gone back to base yet, which means that Khan wasn't forced to teleport. He wants to try and grab that Tiamat on his first base so that he has the additional wave clear. And the reason why the wave clear is so important is because Pyke as a champion loves to get mobility boots. And the moment he's got them, if he can go into lane, push the wave, and then disappear, everyone on the side of SKT has to be like, okay, there's a guy with a spear running around looking to execute as many people as possible.
And I do have a fear from that statement because SKT are a team that learn. When you show them something new, is your best chance at beating them with it. Once they've had a chance to digest it, much like the Borg, they assimilate the information, bring it into their own understanding, and get better. So they've lost to this Pyke before. I want to see how they're warding and their decision-making changes this time around.
The recent example will be the clear Pantheon that Griffin tried twice in the LCK final. First time, it almost got over the line. The second time, it looked laughable. So SKT's adaptations here will be clear for everyone to see.
Now, Clid is one of the players that we've been tracking in this early game a lot. Currently level 4, has looked for a lot of ganks both around bot and in mid. Meanwhile, Jankos has been steadily farming away and has now hit level 5 as Wunder looks for his first roam. Caps now level 6.
All right, Bone Skewer, maybe. It can obviously synergize so effectively with all of the CC sitting on the side of G2 Esports. Teleport, I can see, was used by Perkz into the bottom lane. Wunder obviously going to use that mobility to potentially help out. He was going top, now come back down. FLICKR gets knocked up from the Unburrow, but look at the teleports here from SK Telecom. Khan is going to be helping out. Caps is going low. Unburrow once again. Clid is the first target. Death from the low. That's going to be first blood, the latest of the series. Everybody's in the jungle. Caps goes down into 1-for-1. Now Marta's in trouble. Summoning heal will buy time. Slicing Maelstrom is flashed away from defensively. G2 Esports won't find a Bone Skewer. They won't find the follow-up CC. It's a 1-for-1.
Let's pack up and leave the lanes at 7 minutes. 5v5s. Why not? It goes 1-for-1. No reset on Wunder's ultimate. Did not actually get the execution. Didn't share the gold. Potential for it, but I don't believe it did.
Best international meta as a viewer ever. Oh, it's 7 minutes in, 10 people at the red button.
It certainly is, Quickshot. You already commented on the stat, and we see it once again, latest first blood of the series, and it goes in the hands of Wunder's Pyke. You're right, he didn't find the execution. The point of the ultimate was to just get that additional damage down so they could find that initial kill onto Clid. FLICKR gets knocked up, and at this point you think he's going to get locked down, but they know that Marta and Teddy are on their way. Teddy gets chunked out by Perkz, who's looking to try and find that kill. No level 6 means he can't execute him. Meanwhile, the 3v2 is going up towards the river, but this is when Khan joins the fray.
But Khan was so frustrated. Deep teleport for where he thought the fight would be fought. Instead, because so many people were caught in transition, no value out of slicing Maelstrom, even though it was a true handshaken 5v5.
I also missed the scat of the week from Perkz. None of those orbs managing to find a target, so that means nobody else dies. Even gold game. Pretty much even CS. It's plus 10 in favor of FLICKR over Caps. And crucially, Perkz has got access to that unleashed power. Jankos senses it as well. The stun comes out. Here's Clid. 3v3 in the bottom lane. Vision is denied on both sides. Mikyx goes forward. Chain of Corruption starts to spread. Jankos is inside, but Mikyx is the first one that's in trouble. Now Clid is being turned around. Caps is coming in. Frozen Tombs available in a few seconds. Unleashed Power plus Void Rush. That gives one to the LEC representative. Mata gets caught in the winds of war, and Europe get 2.
G2 Esports find successful kills towards the bot side of the map. Both junglers showed up. Both junglers were looking for an opportunity as all of the summoner spells were down. But it is G2 that end up coming out on top. Now, FLICKR is looking for an answer towards the top side.
He's going hunting. Wunder's got a flash available to him out of vision, so the regen is so powerful on that champion. FLICKR's just going to wait in the wings. You can sense, you can feel that Wunder knows it's happening. G2 with the first advantage.
But you can feel also that G2 are more adept in this playstyle. This is never seen in the LCK. This level of aggression. 5v5 fights over no discernible objective at 7 minutes. But SKT are playing G2's game. Play it at your own peril.
Wunder on this Pyke is also exceptionally difficult to gank. He has the boots of mobility now. That roaming potential is very prevalent on this champion, and because of the amount of camouflage and mobility tools that he has, it's going to be difficult for FLICKR to lock him down. So he now returns to mid. Caps is the target.
All right, Caps manages to escape. Very good use of that glacial path. Double W from FLICKR. The chains are about to pop. Caps, very, very controlled, did not either self-cast or target SK Telecom, but big trade in favor of FLICKR.
And you're seeing the potential that FLICKR has on this champion. Even though G2 sit at a 1,000 gold lead, you're just looking at this mid lane, you're just looking at this veteran of a talent and his ability to play this champion.
That double distortion had a bit of venom behind it, didn't it?
Yeah.
He was definitely leaving him with something to pick up, able to go back, teleport back in, so no harm, no foul, but it is another tool for playmaking down.
Clid, the playmaker for SK Telecom, 0-2-1. The inverse, Jankos, 1-0-2. Warrior enchant already completed, and he's stealing away the Raptor camp. This is a very positive sign for G2 Esports. The only death they've conceded was on Caps in that brawl inside the jungle. And with the priority mid and bottom, G2 are going to unlock this Cloud Drain.
And SKT will be forced to answer a question that was posed by a lot of analysts. Analysts asking, in fact, of can SKT win if it's not about Clid in the early game? Because right now, Clid is pretty significantly behind, going a Warrior Enchant build, so he'll be squishy. He'll be taken down by a lot of the first damage. Lot to like about G2's position, and they take the first Drake of the game.
Oh, here's Wunder. FLICKR's got flash available. He's rooted in place, caught by Lissandra. Ultimate, and he's killed from below. Pushing the wave as well. The roaming pirate picks up the kill onto FLICKR. Mata does get caught by the stun, but no further follow.
And this is something we're going to be seeing a lot from Wunder. He doesn't care about the 1v1 matchup. He only cares about the roams. He wants to create chaos. And while FLICKR came hunting for him, Wunder wanted to return the favor. X marks the spot. They find the kill. G2 now sit with a 2,000 gold lead.
And I think the jungle matchup going like this, where Clid is second to a lot of his engagements, means that mid-prio, that's been there kind of the whole best of 5 for SKT is gone. And that means that plays like this can happen. They can come from both directions, and there's no Jarvan to bail FLICKR out.
There's too much crowd control. FLICKR not running the cleanse against Lissandra means that the gank setup is so prevalent. And Wunder, he utilized his W to get through the Scuttle Crab, so there was no vision on him as he made his way down towards the mid lane. Good setup from the side of G2. Now they're looking for more skirmishes.
All right, waiting for the channel on that Bone Skewer. Cannot thread the needle through the minion line. Jankos will clear out the vision as Wunder continues to apply pressure in this top lane. And this is a fantastic start for G2 Esports, but do not forget how crazy that previous game was. SK Telecom, and specifically FLICKR, found multiple ways to get back into the game through some crazy outplays.
I think it first set up around the Rift Herald, but it was spotted earlier than expected by G2. Let's see what their response is, as it's down to about 6,500 health.
Not enough members yet. Perkz is going to be content pushing those turret plates in the bottom lane. Rift Herald conceded here by G2 Esports, as it's just before 14 minutes. It is nearly a 3,000 gold lead, and Tower First Blood bonus will go to Perkz. But obviously the Rift Herald counter push will help out SKT.
We'll get solo gold onto the Varus, you would imagine. Clid could follow it in, but I don't think it's worth at this point. It's kind of going to be a Cataclysm and a Prayer, not much more to respond as this more damage-centric Jarvan build. Mid lane.
All right, FLICKR gets caught up by the Bone Skewer. Insta-cast by Cap. 1, 2 dunks for Wunder. He's 4-0. It is at the cost of Caps' life, but Khan's able to escape Scatter the Weak and the Bone Skewer. That was by such a close margin. The tower is still alive, though. Here comes Khan. Slicing Maelstrom available. Unleash power from Perkz. He's in trouble, going low. Mikyx uses the ultimate to jump down. Wunder's unstoppable. 5-0 on the Pyke. G2 Esports are up 4,000 gold, and they may not be done sieging the towers.
SKT are doing what they can to find advantages elsewhere on the map, but G2 are just saying, unfortunately, you either fight us or you die. And in either situation, it is G2 who are coming out on top. They don't care about losing these objectives. They don't care about losing these towers. All they care about is finding those executions and killing SKT.
They got a 5-kill Pyke after this replay roll is done, sharing gold as well. Wombo combo that FLICKR knows only too well multiple times this game. Khan tries to walk down the lane and join, doesn't make much happen. Clid is smart, he actually clears out the wave, and that's why Perkz almost died largely to turret aggro. But it's too little, too late, and now the gold lead extends to 4,500 for G2.
And this is a situation where SKT, they're now going through the pages of the playbook, and they're saying, what options do we have? What are our answers? How do we come back? They do have a decent pick competition. If they can find targets out of position, then that is their opportunity to come back. But unfortunately for them, G2 never seem to be alone. There always seem to be 2 or 3 members primed and ready to answer any potential play.
I'm sure if you asked SKT right now, they'd put their faith in 5v5s, but there may never be one. And speaking of lack of 5v5s, here's a skirmish.
All right, good sidestep by FLICKR. Mikyx going to take this blast cone over the wall. Decides not to, in fact. If Wunder had hit that Q, you have to feel something would have happened. He's got the Ghost Blade as well as Tiamat and Moby Boots, and he's got a level advantage over FLICKR. Now Clid's his recall just finished. Charge up the Q, finds the tag. I was waiting for Wunder to go in, but he chose not to.
Yeah, he's not going to overcommit against FLICKR. He's still, FLICKR still has the W and ultimate to get him out to safety, so Wunder chooses not to commit. Instead, he's going fishing. He's looking for whoever he can find, and Perkz is the target.
All right, Perkz still has flash available to him. Throws out the ultimate. That's the hourglass used by Khan. Chain of Corruption catches one. That's a kill into Jankos already. Advantage SKT. LCK are turning this one around. Despite the 5,000 gold deficit, they've got enough now to turn the pressure back onto G2 Esports.
G2 couldn't actually get in the fight and actually have Wunder play a role, and Caps might actually be caught in transition.
All right, let's find out what he can do. Caps is going to use the claw to get to safety. Still gets rooted in place by FLICKR's chains. He's sitting on the flash as well. Can self-cast the ultimate if needed to buy some time. Wunder now can hop over the wall and get a multi-man stun. Decides against it, but SKT, they didn't overchase.
So this is SKT finding the picks that they need. G2 got a little too overzealous, and SKT were very quick to punish. Loved the flanking teleport coming out from FLICKR to cut off the escape route of 2 of the G2 members, allowing them to find some kills, potentially find some shutdowns, and work their way back into this game.
The picks are nice. They slow down the game, but remember, if Wunder's involved, the picks are getting double duty, and they're not actually moving the map state very much. They still don't control their own red side jungle. They just have implied control of their blue side jungle. So right now, it's just some answering gold, and even then, G2 grows stronger.
As you rightly said, Papa Smithy, G2 are looking very good right now. You can see they're nearing completion on their second items, and Wunder is so terrifying at this point, especially when the map comes dark. If the observers have an opportunity to just toggle the SKT vision, we'll be able to see what they're working with right now. You see Wunder right now, but look at how much of the map that you don't see him. And even then, if you don't have control wards, you're not going to spot him out. He is constantly looking for picks, and he is looking to skewer any SKT member that walks in his path.
Unbelievable start to this game. 4,000 gold up. G2 Esports, the last time this happened, they were on the red side against RNG at Worlds last year, and G2 were able to win that series. the expectations, the anticipation, and plays like this. That's what's allowing SKT back into the game.
See 3 people way over the wall, but the decisive engage to kill Rek'Sai means that Wunder is only a watcher during this particular fight. They can chase 4v1, 3v1 onto further picks, so no value from Wunder. He needs someone else to start, and he's the cleaner.
Yeah, and I mean, SKT have proven already in Game 4 that if you give them just an inch, they will take a mile. They're not a team that you can just assume will just concede areas of the map. They've proven multiple times that they will fight you, they will not give up this game, and FLICKR wants to return to that final stage, so he will do everything in his power to turn this game around.
And all of a sudden, FLICKR is in a little bit of trouble. Unleashed power from Perkz. He's almost back to his solo killing ways onto FLICKR. Prey Seeker from Jankos actually goes the other direction, trying to spot out the clones. A lot of members of SKT coming around. But again, there is just some beautiful irony in Perkz on Syndra, almost solo killing FLICKR. It is a matchup that we saw in the finals in 2017, G2 and Europe, on the precipice of making history, not only eliminating SKT, but making an NA versus EU MSI final. The weight of that still hasn't quite sunk in.
But we've also already talked about it, Quickshot, where SKT has been one of the main blockers for Europe internationally for many years. Fnatic, Misfits, G2 in the past. For them to finally overcome one of their long-standing blockers would be a huge achievement for not only G2, but for Europe as a region.
All right, let's take a look at this. Bone Skewer comes out, Cap steps forward. Hourglass is already used, but it feels like this should just be it. Not yet. Good flash from Khan, that keeps him alive. Buys enough time for Clid and Marta to arrive in support. And Wunder's just dancing on the edge of safety. Look at the vision littered in the jungle. G2 Esports can't even play around Baron because it hasn't spawned yet.
And that's actually the point I wanted to get to, is SKT can only reinforce Kennen because Baron hasn't spawned yet. They can afford to send multiple members bot side and not just have the Baron rush down. So important to look towards the timer. The Baron spawns. Wait to see what it means.
You'll notice now that Khan has been slowly and steadily farming off in the side lane. He's actually managed to build a CS advantage and is matching Wunder in levels. He's still very strong on this Kennen, and even though there's an 800 gold deficit, it definitely doesn't feel like that. The biggest disparities are coming between the bot and mid lane, and the jungle in particular, between the two teams.
And one of the things that I can't get out of my head is when a skirmish style of game takes place, SK Telecom do not perform well. When I think of the games they've struggled in, it's these kind of scrappier types of games where split-second decision-making is required that has kept SKT back.
They just want to make the game predictable. That's why they have to back so frequently to buy control wards to make Wunder conspicuous. Because if that first kill comes in, they can ravage this team, G2. They can ravage through the fairly low health bars. The only person who can actually walk up is Khan, and that's only when his Zhonya's is available. Kind of using it off cooldown. It's going to be a very long map in the bot lane. Caps takes out the bot lane in a turn.
Now Wunder returns to the top side. He's going to catch that wave as FLICKR has just pushed it out. And this is an opportunity for SKT to actually look for a pick. Look at how much control they have around the river. Jankos not going to gamble with the face check. So SKT now grouping up in mid. Could they look for a potential play onto G2?
Let's take a look. 6,000 gold is the advantage for G2. Couple of thrift store items after the Ghost Blade for Wunder. He's close to 2, maybe 3 items. Luden's Echo and Proto Belt for Caps is matched by Luden's Echo, but there's an entire Proto Belt difference between mid laners. FLICKR's gonna need some additional time, but Teddy on the 2 items is terrifying right now.
Teddy is online, and if you notice, look at the enemy team, it's all burst build, right? They have a burst team that was going to press R on the Lissandra, the Syndra, and blow one person up. Varus needs time. Can SKT buy that time for 10?
Wow, look at Caps. He's coming in from outside of vision. Bone Skew's already caught Mata. He's going to buy time. Mikyx gets a 3-man taunt. Caps is waiting for the ultimate for that. Khan throws down the Maelstrom and uses the Hourglass. That's a shutdown on Wunder. He can't do more, but it's a trade. Top laner for top laner. Another fantastic taunt from Mikyx. 3 more die in favor of G2. Mata is running for his life, and G2 turn to burn more objectives.
4 members on the SKT squad die after taking down Wunder. They thought that was it. They thought they could turn it around, but the damage from Caps and Perkz was still there. Jankos with the beautiful flash knockup to set up the rest of the team to find the execution. SKT falter, G2 extend the lead.
Europe, your once vilified G2 Esports, is on the verge of taking down SKT thanks to plays like this.
And Khan, if you watch, Mikyx starts it off perfect comp bash. Khan plays this perfectly. Notice he gets the stay stuff and ults beforehand to try to control. We're on the Infernal.
We are indeed. It's actually picked up by FLICKR. Jankos is buying some time. Wunder manages to get the bone skewer. Jankos is buying some time, but at what cost? Khan is now stuck inside the pit. Mikyx gets once again another good taunt, but the dragon was picked up by SKT. Caps completes the teleport, is running for his life, takes the glacial path out. G2 may consider a re-engage because Teddy's not here yet. The skewer catches Mata. Where's the Ghost Water dive? Not waiting for it yet. Waiting to see if the, Phantom Undertow rather, if Wunder wanted to go over the wall, decided against it, but that's a good, confident reply from SKT.
SKT demonstrate their resilience in this game. They want to turn this one around, and that fight on the Dragon was just a really good punish onto Jankos. He tried to clear that out by himself, and SKT were in a better position to punish.
But why is the question you might ask. Remember, it's... Oh, Teddy.
Oh, the stun doesn't land. If that had landed, maybe Wunder had gone in.
The game state might surprise you. Why didn't G2 go to Baron after they got 4 kills? Remember, they don't have a ranged AD carry. Their Baron taking speed is going to be much more on the slower ebb. That's what allowed SKT to stay in a game state where they die 4 times at 22 minutes and don't sacrifice Baron.
This is a composition from G2 that doesn't need the Baron to win as long as they've got this gold lead and they can keep getting kills, but a great play from SKT there.
Yeah, and so honestly, SKT just reacted much faster than G2 did. You notice that Khan noticed the Dragon was being started, the ward was already there so that FLICKR could teleport in, and G2 were like, whoa, we weren't expecting this. They then used 2 teleports and ended up getting nothing off the back of it. So overall, this is a great play from SKT, and it will alleviate a lot of the map pressure that G2 look to push forward.
Man, Mata just keeps getting caught by these taunts. Bone Skewer goes up, but that's a big miss from Wunder. Can't found the damage on the back end, though. Slicing Maelstrom hasn't got any kills. Jankos is buying some time, but at what cost? That's a great scout of the week, but it's SK Telecom that are winning the fight. They turn their attention to Mikyx. He goes golden for a few seconds. Wunder's done nothing. He's been watching from the sidelines. He finally gets a kill, but he doesn't get the reset. Now they're trying to turn it around. That's 2 for Wunder. He turns it back. Clid escapes with his life. All of a sudden, Caps has left alone Teddy. Look at that auto attack! Rat-a-tat-tat! And G2 goes splat!
From 7,000 gold down, they win a team fight. They actually keep Teddy alive, and the flank from Khan was what had started all off.
SKT once again over and over demonstrate how strong they are as a team. Here we see Mata absorbing so much of the damage, and note how FLICKR dives onto the backline, but it is Khan with this beautiful flank to earn an early Zhonya's out from Perkz. They take out Rek'Sai, and notice that Lissandra still isn't even in the fight.
This is turning into a greatest hits of G2 Esports and SKT. Historically, team fights from 10,000 gold behind. These plays with the Realm Warp and the ability to play 3 lanes, it's insane.
And imagine if Caps was here at the beginning of this fight, how differently this could have been. And it was just that awareness from SKT to recognize this is a great opportunity for us. We have to do it. And the core carries of Teddy and FLICKR showed up and win the team fight for SKT.
We're bouncing up and down 2 days in a row. MSI semifinals are delivering in a way we could never have imagined.
25 kills in 26 minutes. Teddy is now 3-1-4. He's got more of Malmortius as well as that Blade of the Rune King and Rageblade. He shredded G2 Esports. And this 5,000 gold lead, it means nothing as these fights are playing out. If you are a European fan at home, you better bring all of your friends and family because this will be an explosive end. G2 have not positioned to play around Baron, but SKT are responding to the aggressive lane push.
And the players you have to keep your eyes on are Wunder and FLICKR, because these two are the assassins of the squad. And if either one of them gets caught at the very beginning of the fight, then the fight is pretty much determined, because their damage is so important in being able to eliminate the likes of Teddy, the likes of Perkz, that without them, both these compositions will not have the damage needed.
And it's strange this late in the game, but it feels like both teams have a conditional factor to win a team fight. For the side of G2, it's to get the burst on one and have Wunder clean up that first kill. For SKT, it's find a way to stop Teddy just being zoned by all the threats. There's so many of them on G2.
Yeah, there really are. FLICKR was caught out there by Caps' ultimate. Well, maybe that's a bit of a stretch from a phrase, but now with 3 members diving, he's going to be forced to flash away. Chilling Smite caused that one. Tower number 6 secured in favor of G2. Only inhibitor towers remaining 27 minutes into the game.
But how can G2 get a Baron? Their comp does so many things, but killing Baron is much more conditional for them. Feels like Khan has spent the whole game on a flank at this point.
Yeah.
Looking for a flash ultimate. That flash about 2 minutes or so away from cooldown. Double Void Staff of being complete. And G2, there's no one on SKT that can absorb the R from Lissandra, the R from Syndra, and not be assassinated by the death from below.
There's no QSS yet completed on the side of SKT. There's no cleanse. Oh, the cleanse actually is sitting on top of Teddy, so that's all right. G2 will have priority around the Ocean Drake. And also, just look at the amount of wars that they've invested towards the top side of the map. While gaining control of these tier 2 towers, they completely littered the enemy jungle with all this red side vision.
All right, Mikyx now going to be in a little bit of trouble. Forced to flash defensively. Of G2's gold lead, most of it's on Cap. He's gone in. Marta's caught out. Teddy's been able to flash for now. Caps uses the self-cast on the ulti, and Khan, he managed to get the slicing nails from off. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but Wunder's still alive. That's a 3-man stun from Perkz. The Bone Skewer sets another up. They've traded top for jungle. Clid is down. Jankos goes up, but he can't take down FLICKR. So far, it's a 2-for-2. Wunder's running for his life. He can't find the stun. 2-for-3 at the end of the fight in favor of SKT.
And it's SKT that are continuously coming out on top of these fights. Wunder now has just spotted Marta.
All right, he has indeed, but look at the stun. That's just massive. Teddy gets the shutdown goal. 6-1-5. The gold lead truly doesn't mean a thing. And SK Telecom, they might be able to burn Baron.
Oh, the pings are on Baron, but they don't have a lot of health bars to do it. Faker's gonna have to tank it up here. TP up on Caps in 10 seconds. This is not gonna be an easy take. Marta denies the blast plant, and here we go.
We're actually doing it right now. It looks like Caps is going nowhere near the pings. Oh, here comes the teleport from Caps. They need to go and contest this.
All right, this is a challenge on both sides, though. Khan has managed to make it to the river. Caps has thrown down a ward. He's got vision. The claw will tag Marta. Miky's going to be in range as well. There's no flash available, and he may need to Justice Punch over the wall. Baron has been interrupted. Teddy is trying to step forward. The taunt is going to come out. Caps is trying to find the kill. Marta's in trouble. Faker's low, but they've already got one onto Marta. Where is Teddy? Follow his HP bar. Khan flashes up the wall. Teddy's dead. Jankos is in the pit. G2 Esports have been gifted and donated a Baron from SKT. That's a dunk from Wunder. Death from below for the double, for the ace, for the Baron and the base.
G2 obliterate SKT. Look at all the death timers. They're looking to stamp their authority onto the SK Telecom dynasty and make their way to the final.
Baron empowered minions are pushing into the base. The gap be damned. Champions can fall, gods can bleed. Where were you when the West rose up to conquer champions? G2 Esports eliminates SK Telecom. North America face Europe at the MSI Finals.
Faker once again has to stare into his own despair. It's a well-deserved victory for G2, and they did it their way. The final game going for their confidence picks. To be damned that SKT had time to prep for it. They roll it back, they win on red side in a series defined by blue side victories. NA versus EU. I never thought I'd live to see that as an international finals clash.
And the deciding game in both series, they play the NA special against IG, they play the G2 special against SK Telecom. And for the first time in our international history, Europe versus North America at the MSI Finals.
Oh, what a way to do it. There was so much debate around these two teams. There was so much controversy. So many believed that SKT were the second best team in the tournament. G2 could potentially rival them. And in the group stages, it looked like that SKT only continued to get better. And if we're being honest, this was one of the most competitive best of fives that I have ever seen. And it was just so close. That game 4 could have gone either way, given how well SKT defended it. It was just... It was literally a game of inches.
It's interesting you say that because there was 4 games that were fairly one-sided with the team
3
getting
games.
ahead. And the last game was still fairly one-sided with a couple of like dramatic fights in the middle, right? But it was G2's game to lose pending SKT's fights. This game showed the caliber of SKT, but the maybe inability to play the meta style right now that ended up costing them.
Over the 5-hour best of 5 with the pauses, with the full 5-game series, it did feel like SKT were trying to force into predictability with all the wards, the control wards, the squareness of the game, but G2 just have this way to reinvent. We talked about how they reinvent and move the battlefield, and the battlefield takes them all the way to that climactic final.
One of the things that we've been saying and talking a lot about is the downfall of LCK and like they're losing their power. I think it's strong words because the expectation is that the LCK will just win everything. 3 international events in a row, that is not going to be the case. And we see NA in the finals, EU in the finals. It's starting to become a discussion that gap truly may no longer exist.
It did feel like history never meant less than during LCK spring after the fall of all the world's teams and towards relegation. We brought out our big guns. We brought out all the history points. SK Telecom and FLICKR never missing an international final. In the end, it wasn't enough.
I mean, for FLICKR, like, you can't help but also feel a sense of frustration. Like, that man is considered...
Game 4 as well,
like,
right?
Considered the greatest of all time. And, like, you watch Game 4 and even in Game 5, like, some of the things that he did were just amazing and out of this world. And unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough against that of G2 Esports. And, like, you can only hope that from here he continues to grow. You got to remember there's still a rookie jungler in Clid. Still, you'd hope that there is still so much room for this new SKT roster to be able to move forward.
Does Caps' role swap start to enter the echelon of the ambition role swap? But I mean,
Perkz.
You know, Perkz, sorry, thank you. Perkz' role swap, you know, you move to ADC, Game 5, just like he plays a mage. Standard, of course, just to add the spiciness, but you have to ask that question. This move, it got MSI finals for G2.
We got some answers. G2 will be pushed over. There's still more questions. You know, rookie split for Clid on SKT, had a couple years in China. We all thought it would be Griffin, who building to this moment. SKT kind of overperformed to make it here, make it to this match. Still a wonderful series. What does it mean next?
Well, we're going to find out. We hit on stage. Congratulations, G2.
欢迎来到我们的赛后采访，我们邀请到的是 Caps 来接受我们的采访。We are now joined by Caps. You can hear the fans here are crazy. Could you say hello and introduce yourself to your audience?
I want to thank you guys. You've been cheering so much for us, even when we were losing. We were 1-2 down in the series. I could come on stage and hear you guys cheer, so thank you guys.
非常感谢现场所有的人支持我们，即使我们在输的时候，你们还是那么一如既往的支持我们，而且我们可能在输的时候，你们还一直呐喊。其实我听到你们呐喊也会觉得非常的开心。那接下来想知道 Caps 其实今天呢，他们能够打败 SKT 在这样的一个比尔伍当中，他觉得他们队伍当中是做到了什么比 SKT 更强呢？Actually, this was like insane theory, and why do you think you are so much stronger than SKT today?
So I'm not really sure what exactly happened, but I think we just they had some really good preparation, and I mean some of it didn't work, but in the end, the Game 5 we had a very weird comp, but it ended up working. So I think it's like the creativity.
其实我觉得我也不太清楚我们到底是做到了什么能够比他们更强。其实他们有做很多的准备，可能有很多准备也没有成功的有用吧。但是可以看到我们的最后一局的时候，我们拿出了一个很奇怪的阵容，但这个奇怪的阵容最后也是成功的、有效的，可能发挥了它的作用，所以我们就赢了。那刚刚他也是提到了最后一局他们拿到了这样的双法师的阵容，他是怎么样评价这样的一个阵容？是不是因为他们队伍当中有 Perkz， 所以才足够让他们拿到这样的一个阵容呢 ？You mentioned about the Game 5, the Syndra and the Lissandra composition. So is that because the Perkz in your team that you can like let that out?
Yeah, so I mean we've been playing a lot of AD carries, but we were going into Game 5, and Perkz said if I get a mage, then it's 3-win. So we gave Perkz a mage.
Perkz 跟我说，如果他能够拿到法师的话，我应该是可以随便赢的，所以我们就能够赢得这一场比赛。OK， 接下来想知道，因为其实可以看到。Caps 呢，它其实在很多英雄上面都使用的非常好。可能有很多人的评论都是说，当 Caps 拿到像塞拉斯、像瑞兹、像阿卡丽这样的英雄的时候，觉得好像这些英雄非常的 OP， 可能是做坏了，或者说过于的强大。那我想知道 Caps 心中是觉得他比较强一些，还是因为这些英雄比较强而已？I can see some comments where some like analysts saying that like Akali or Ryze or another Sylas is too OP or broken. So what's your opinion on that? Is Caps OP or the champions so OP?
I mean, I think the champions are kind of OP. I mean, that's why we also banned them a lot, right? I think there are a lot of mid champs that are really strong right now. Obviously, I would love to say that I was just really OP, but then again, I was playing against FLICKR, so.
我觉得其实可能中单英雄有很多很强的英雄在这个版本当中，所以我们也是搬掉了很多中路这样一些比较强势的英雄。但是可能我也是比较强吧，但我跟 FLICKR 对线嘛，我也不能这样说。好，那最后一个问题，因为明天他们可能要对上的是 Team LIQUID， 我想知道他对于明天的这一场巅峰对决是怎么样看待的 ？We'll play against Team LIQUID tomorrow in the final. What's your thought on that? Who's better, North America or Europe?
So I think we live in a weird world where we have to take down SKT to face Team Liquid. And we were really excited for the matchup against IG because they beat us so many times, so we wanted revenge. And we're gonna make TL regret beating IG.
其实我觉得这一次的世界赛还是蛮奇妙的一段旅程，因为我们打败了 SKT， 进入到了决赛当中。但是其实我们还是蛮想跟 IG 对决的，我们想在决赛当中可以跟他们复仇。不过我们接下来要跟 Team Liquid 对决，在决赛当中的话，我们想让 Team Liquid 后悔他们打败了 IG， 要面对我们。OK，congratulations， 我们的3号采访到此先告一段落。Thank you。
Thank you.
Welcome to MSI Cooldown, where we're recapping that G2 win and looking towards the final.
Say it again.
In Taipei. That G2 win.
One more
That
time.
G2 win over SKT Europe. We got to see it. I feel like Kobe got to come on here with an American flag and a Canadian jersey. We don't have a flag or a jersey.
We do have a Welshman.
We do have a Welshman. Very important. We brought an actual, honest to goodness European with us. Just a stunning day. But I feel like you tried to keep it together through most of the cash. Like, I will not get excited about Europe. I am a caster.
So, like, for the first 3.5 games, I actually genuinely felt nothing. I was like, this is just a standard game of League of Legends. I had nothing to worry about. And then FLICKR landed that Gnar ultimate, and then overwhelming stress filled my body, and I was like, we could lose. I was like, that is not okay. And then it was like, don't be biased. This is a game of League of Legends. And then at that point, I was like, this is really stressful now, but game 5 also wasn't very comfortable. I don't like FLICKR anymore. He's really good at League of Legends.
Yeah, game of League of Legends, game of like inches. It felt like it came down to so many just individual clutch moments between both SKT and G2. Ultimately, we went the distance. We got the silver scrapes. It was G2 that comes out on the top. But like, this series blew my mind. This is probably one of the best League of Legends series I think I've ever seen.
And like, we didn't see it actually much on the cast, but the more I think about it, right, like, in the LCK finals, Teddy was the guy that actually drew so much attention due to his amazing team fight. Like, that guy actually deserves so much props for his team. Like, he was never the focus, but like, he also like very rarely died in so many of those fights. And his positioning was so good. Like, I really want to go back and watch because of how talented like both these teams were. Like, it was truly a spectacle to watch. And it turns out that 2 EU mids are in fact greater than 1 FLICKR. That's the only conclusion I can draw.
Perkz is like, I can't beat him by myself. Cass is like, I can't beat him by myself. Come with me.
Yeah. You sound excited about the series, so let's relive it. Let's look back at some of those highlight moments, some of those big moments across what was a 5-game series. And as you said, so many clutch moments, so many situations where it felt like 30 health, 1.5 seconds on a cooldown, one exactly well-positioned ult was the game changer.
And it was also the decision-making in how we were setting up these fights. SKT came out swinging in this series. It felt like they looked like a completely different animal, revamping the early game. Clid was an absolute god, just a monster. But the fact that G2 held the mental fortitude, that they had enough tricks up their sleeve, that they constantly went toe-to-toe with SKT, a pentakill in an MSI semifinal. I was dying back here.
It really did feel like as well that Caps, like, I saw a hilarious tweet, which was just like, game 1, craps. Game 2, claps. Game 3, craps. Game 4, claps. And it felt like that you never really knew which player was going to show up, and like, you saw both the best and worst of Caps throughout this series.
I love that you say that, because it's not just the best and worst of Caps, it's also the best and worst of G2. And at some point, if your champion from your region plays this style, you just have to take the good with the bad. This is G2. Take them or leave them. This is how they play League of Legends, and they didn't change that here against SKT.
I mean, I see you watching. You can't see Vedius' face at home, but Vedius is literally watching that Gnar ultimate as Wunder ends game 4 and is almost crying here with us. And this game, of course, I'll be honest, when the draft was locked in for the side of G2 Esports, I thought for sure that SKT would take this series back because the Pyke is good, but it's also like, if anything goes wrong...
Get out of here!
I was terrified.
Get out of here.
You predicted it 3-2. You can't come in like you were like, yes, absolute confidence coming into the day.
Because here's the thing, SKT, they try to perfect the rulebook. They look at what the tournament meta was, and they made the adaptations to meet it. They had the early game, Clid was there, their composition, the teams, everything looked perfect. But G2 don't care about the rulebook. They take it, they throw it out. And it was that creativity, Cap said it in his interview, Pyke had it in that champion up there, like that's what won them the day. Play your style.
Absolutely. Wunder was a complete and total machine that series, but for more on that victory, let's send it over to Shox, who's standing by with 2 members of the victorious G2.
Thank you very much, Jankos. Indeed, I'm here with Perkz and with Wunder, who just got a chance to relive some of the hypest moments from their own best of 5. We already heard it from Cap, so I want to hear from you guys. Perkz, what does it mean to make it to the MSI semifinal after a win over SKT nonetheless?
Well, it means everything to me because I remember last year, like I was kind of like sad and stuff because I couldn't even make it to MSI. I couldn't in Europe, and I wasn't sure what I was doing like wrong, right? And now that we are doing so well with so little time together, even is just amazing. I have no words to describe actually. Yeah, but we are here to take it all. You know, this is like not the end yet.
This is just the first step, Wunder.
Well, yeah, I mean, during the series, I was a bit skeptical because, I mean, they looked like a lot better than when we played them the first time. But still, like, I knew that we had, like, we kind of had, like, some secret picks, and we also, I mean, we played a bit bad, like a bit worse than we maybe, like, could have the first couple of games. So, I mean, I always knew that we could probably take down SKT, and then, like, the final boss was supposed to be IG in the final. But now it's a bit weird, right? Because now we're playing against Team Liquid, so it's not really like the final I was expecting. But I mean, I appreciate them taking off IG for us, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say because you guys had trouble with IG in the past, but talk to me then about that final because it is unexpected, right? It is Team Liquid that looked incredibly, incredibly strong. So how are you expecting that to go instead of playing IG?
Yeah, honestly, it's just hype. You know, like EU versus NA final, like whatever happens is really hype. You know, because like that's kind of like a dream. Like, if you like look at it like 2 years ago even, like you would never say like EU and NA would like barely make it out of groups, you know, like. But now it's a final at MSI, so it's a really huge step for the whole like Western scene in general. And yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're gonna win.
Okay, there we go. Wunder, what do you think about the clash?
Yeah, I mean, since I guess we lost to them, like we went 1-1 in groups against them, they should not be underestimated. But I also think in a BO5, we probably, I mean, like as I see it, if we play 10 games against Team Liquid, I would probably expect us to win like 8 or 9 of them. So I think a BO5 would probably favor us a lot more than BO1s, where, like, first of all, anything can happen in BO1, right? And second of all, I mean, there's like less adaptation, which I think we are good at. So I look forward to it at least.
In terms of the mental aspect, do you think you learned or took away a lot from the fact that you guys suffered a really big loss in Game 1 of this series, but were able to keep it going and surpass kind of the pressure of a Game 5?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think after Game 1, it felt like our team morale was a bit down, just from looking at everyone's faces. And I was like, yeah, we just played Sona Tarek, we just got smashed, so I wasn't really sure. We just decided to like go away from it, even though like we were pretty good at it before. So we didn't want to like go like Fnatic like 0-2 with Sona Tarek, and then we have a chance to reverse it, but it's hard, you know?
Yeah.
So we just went to our own style, which we know we are good at. And I mean, when we were 1-2 down, it was like, I just had like flashbacks from the RNG series, so I held kind of in the comfort zone. I'm not gonna lie, I told my team we're in comfort zone. I told them we're gonna win this game, and I'm gonna pick Mage next game, and we're gonna win, and it all happened. Like, I don't wanna like beat that guy, but I'm that guy.
Yeah, also pretty fun. You actually beat FLICKR in SKT with a mid laner, right? Does that count for something?
Yeah, my Syndra is 2 against FLICKR, 100% minute.
There we go. Wunder, final question about the games. Of course, the Pyke is something we saw you pick last time versus SKT. How much of it was mental advantage that you thought it would trigger in them, and how much was it this works in this comp?
Well, I mean, well, it was mostly Luca who said we wanted to play AP bot because he didn't really play it this tournament, or like he didn't play it a lot at least. And then we need like AD on other lanes, of course, right? And then, I mean, I guess Pyke was just one of the picks that we could go for. And also with the bans they had, I felt like I kind of knew that I was going to play Pyke into Kennen even before I picked it. That's also what I said to my team, that if I banned like the 2 champs I did after I picked Pyke, I'll most likely be playing against Kennen, right? And that's like a fine matchup for me. And it seemed to be pretty fine as well, even though he didn't really, I mean, we were trading sides and he didn't really like push his advantage in early game, but it seemed pretty good, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it was pretty good. So Final questions here. You talked about it already. This is really a monumental occasion when it comes to League of Legends history. NA versus EU in an MSI final, really a sign of the times changing. I'm going to give you the open floor to say whatever you want to Team Liquid that you're facing in the final tomorrow. Wunder?
Well, I mean, I guess good luck to them, right? I think they are playing way better than they did the first couple of days they played MSI, so I'm still looking forward to it, even though it was not really the final I expected. But I mean, NA versus EU and Rift Rivals coming up soon. I mean, this is going to be, I guess, really good competition for us the next couple of games, yeah.
Okay, nice and respectful. Perkz?
I definitely respect you. I think they are a good team, but I just don't really see how they, like, what do they have over us in a best of 5, where we are very flexible and they don't really know what we're going to show up with. And yeah, I just want to win against Doublelift. I saw some of the TL tweeted that they have the best or second best bot in the tournament, so I'm going to make it the second best.
There we go. I love it. Congratulations. Thank you so much for the interview. A fantastic best of 5. G2 makes it to the MSI final versus Team Liquid. How about them apples? Back to you.
How about it, Shai? I mean, what a world we live in. And we're going to be saying this, I think, for months to come, but EU...
Years.
EU, hopefully not. Hopefully at some point it happens again. But EU NA final, folks. Well, you saw that man, the big man, there in the interview that was wondering...
Is it a small table or a very large?
Very large. He's a big guy, I wonder. Well, he is your MasterCard player of the series. And I think no surprise when you look back at that final Pyke performance.
And the Pyke performance will stand out to everyone, but if you cast your back to the other games, Wunder was also just a consistent backbone for this team. It felt like you did see really the highs and lows of everyone else on this G2 roster, but Wunder was a rock.
Yeah, he certainly was. His consistency should definitely be recognized, and I really loved his Nico. The fact that it drew so many bans, I think, was really valuable for the team, and obviously while they could flex it, I think that's one of the great things about this roster, that you have Wunder, Caps, and Perkz who are all so willing to play all these different champions and are so flexible with each other. The only other person I have to give an honorable mention to is Jankos. Yeah. The man had a phenomenal series, and I have a lot of respect for him, considering that this was his first split where he even won a domestic title. And now he's making his way to the MSI finals with this G2 squad. You can't help but be happy for him, considering how long he's played the game.
Absolutely. And I think when we look at this matchup, me coming into it, I was nervous about how he's going to face up against Clid. Yes, there were some games where Clid got the better of him, the Halo Blades Rek'Sai game, but other than that, I felt like Jankos was going toe-to-toe. He was such a huge catalyst for his team. And that now puts us in this wonderful position, ladies and gentlemen, because we take one more look at that bracket. Show it to me again. Show it to me 3 or 4 times. Yes, that is not a typo. That is not a misprint. That is not a wrong graphic. That is EU versus NA in the finals at MSI 2019, G2 Esports versus Team Liquid.
And you know what, Dracos? I don't see any NA representatives up here right now. I don't think any of them are mic'd up. Oh, what are we gonna do with all of this free space to talk?
This feeling of overwhelming joy, this euphoria.
Huh. You know what I have to say? It took Doublelift 8 years as an AD carry to get to this final.
With this?
It took Perkz 3 months to do it. It took Steve, let's just say, $1 bazillion.
That's a good figure.
And
accurate.
half of Cloud9.
And a world champion. Don't forget about Core JJ. Now, as excited as I am in this exact moment for G2 Esports, hard not to be after a game like that, I'm still, as an EU representative, a little bit nervous heading into tomorrow. So outside of the absolute feeling of joy that you're both filled with, talk to me about this matchup. What do you actually think is going to be the decider? How close is this? At the start of the tournament, I would have said easy peasy. I'm not so sure anymore now that TL's taken down IG.
I personally am looking at Core JJ. I'm actually glad that you brought up his name. We gave him MVP of his series over in Invictus Gaming. Played insane, and I think if you limit his impact, take away playmaking champions from him, I definitely think you just start throwing everything and the kitchen sink at that bottom lane and see if you can break.
My eyes are on Jensen. Like, the last time, like, Caps seems to be his kryptonite in the same way that Caps is to Rookie, right? Like, or Rookie is to Caps, rather.
And now Caps is to FLICKR.
Yeah.
Or FLICKR's Game 5, LeBlanc is to FLICKR.
But, like, the last time they met, Jensen was able to solo kill him, and he, working with Xmithy, were able to shut down Caps. And I think that we demonstrated that while Caps has exceptionally high highs, his lows are very punishable. And so if Jensen can have the same performance that he did the last time that they met, then you're in for a very competitive series and an exciting final.
Is this a full best of 5, or is this similar to today where we talked a lot about momentum coming into it? We talked a lot about how one team takes the edge and maybe they can run through the rest of the series.
So you know what? I don't know.
Frankly,
My expectations were that IG would smash Team Liquid in a 3-0. And then coming into today, if I'm being honest, I was a little skeptical. I definitely praised G2 a lot on social media, but like I was a little nervous.
You're like, I need to be the front runner for our region. Someone has to be the rallying point, but also I'm terrified.
Right, and so like I had no like immediate commitment and faith. So the fact that all these things have now happened, like I don't know. Anything could literally happen in the final. So best of luck. Have fun.
Have fun. That's your analytical.
Have some good League of Legendos.
I think it's really dependent on kind of what meta for this best of 5 that we have, because it felt like we had very different looks and very different priorities between our best of 5 between SKT and our best of 5 between Invictus Gaming. It felt like G2, at least initially in this best of 5, were like, we're gonna 5v5. We're going to team fight, we're going to play it slow. That's how SKT like to play, so let's just try to outscale them. And then they very quickly decided that wasn't how it was going to go, and they're like, grab the Pyke, we're fighting, let's go. Whereas TL, we're team fighting a lot, and Invictus Gaming, we're pulling into that. So I wonder if that's going to be the deciding factor. If it's the 5v5 team fight meta, we'll call it that broadly, then maybe you start airing towards TL, or if it's the let's just kill everyone, League of Legendos party, then you give it to G2.
I will say the thing that stood out to me the most today was whichever team got an early lead ended up being the team that won, right? And Perkz rather said coming into the playoffs that early game is insanely important. It's really, really important. And what we saw with Invictus Gaming versus Liquid was for the majority, like 3 out of 4 of those games, Invictus Gaming actually had a lead, but then failed to close.
They got like Baron first every single time.
Right, and then you look at how Team Liquid, while they did get a lead in game 4, you just compare that to SKT and G2. Both these teams look so strong when they got early advantages. So that's my biggest concern for Team Liquid going up against G2, and it would have been the same for SKT. The early game is the biggest point of weakness that you have to be very careful of.
All right, all in on the early game, something that I personally love to hear, leads to exciting, leads to explosive games. I do want to get one final set of predictions from you. Leading into this, you're both saying how hard it is, but if you have to put a prediction on the line, I know you just want, hey, have fun.
G2 3-0.
G2 3-0, that's some euphoria.
G2 3-1.
G2 3-1. All right, well, take it with a grain of salt because they're both from Europe. I'm Europe too.
There's no way we're biased.
We'll hear what a more balanced desk sounds like tomorrow on the AD for the MSI Finals. But for myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for the conclusion of MSI 2019. See you later.
Welcome back! We're just about ready for SK Telecom to take on G2 Esports. And we need to see whether or not SK Telecom or G2 Esports will have a shot at the title. And oh, that's a flash forward! I did not anticipate that from Teddy, and already on the board, SK Telecom. Here comes Khan, Vanguard's edges down, and the slicing Maelstrom deletes Wunder from the map.
The thing about G2 is they don't care about traditional League of Legends. They don't care about the rulebook. They throw that all out.
He's actually going to sacrifice the inhibitor so that they can just keep farm funneled into the top side of the map.
Khan's coming in with a slicing Maelstrom into all of G2! Caps is already down, Perkz follows. Finally, Clid is killed, but it is a whitewash. Here comes the fault breaker. Clid jumps in, denting blows to Mikyx's face. First blood is available. One more auto. Clid can't close the difference.
Just so you know, I need to warm up because I'm always bad game 1. So it's best of 5 and best of 7 if I need, okay?
Khan has arrived to the fight. There goes Caps. Mate is down. Goes all the way back in with the flip. 5-point strike. Picks up a kill into Mate. Now Jankos looking for the stun. That's a double kill for Caps. He flashes over the wall.
Nice. Run to me, run to me, run to me, run to me. Honestly, like, we have baby Faker and they have Faker. Quadra kill! I need Pensa, I need Pensa. Come on, come on, come on.
There's the unburrow, and Clid manages to do it. Gets the damage down, sinks in the fangs onto Jankos as well. Here comes Faker as well with the follow-up stun. It's a double. Flag and Drag, I think, got interrupted. There's the slicing Maelstrom on the back line. Khan's already killed Caps. SK Telecom lead the series 2-1.
This is it. Will SKT take it, or is G2 bringing us to game 5?
Getting obliterated. Oh! Massive! Manages to steal the Gnaw. Faker turns around. He hijacks G2's chances. Here comes Wunder. Gnaw into the wall. Into the crunch. Caps and Wunder are on the Nexus. They will not go quietly. The Nexus is being focused, but look at FLICKR. Nexus, 1 or 2 more hits. Mega Knock comes out. Wunder forces game 5.
LeBlanc. Nice. You kill all.
Wow! Oh my god.
We're actually against Team Liquid. We're actually against Team Liquid, by the way.
No way.
We're against Team Liquid.
Where were you when the West rose up to conquer champions? G2 Esports eliminates SK Telecom. North America face Europe at the MSI Finals.